may have seats. Thank you very much. Ushers, you're certainly too kind. Valuing the valuable. Valuing the value. We value a lot of things, don't we?
Amen.
Things that we value, although we think that they are valuable, we'll soon learn that when they fade away, they'll no longer be valuable.
Come on now.
The other Sunday, I made the church laugh, not intentionally, but I talked about seasoned saints
Come on now.
who once had young, tight skin.
Come on now.
And they were crazy about their young, tight skin.
Come on now.
But time has caught up with them now.
Yeah, yeah.
They value that which was temporary instead of valuing that which was eternal.
Amen.
So we want to talk about valuing value. Because when you were young, you didn't need that makeup,
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
that lipstick.
Amen.
You could just walk outside and the sun would glisten
Okay.
off your beautiful young skin.
All right now.
But now you got a few miles on
Yeah.
you, and you need some help.
Come on. Say great job.
So the beauty department at Walmart got all your business. Fox Beauty Supply got all your business. Because you didn't value what's really valuable.
Amen.
Valuing value. Allow me to preface this sermonic presentation by telling you that nothing in this world will last forever.
Amen.
Nothing in this world will last forever.
Amen.
I learned this lesson in 2008 as I was, by all accounts, the happiest graduating senior in the world.
Amen.
My happiness was the result of several reasons. First, I was happy because I had passed all of my state examinations that were required for graduation.
Yeah.
Secondly, I was happy because not only was I graduating from high school, but I was graduating in the top 15% of my graduating class.
Amen.
Although I was happy because I had passed all of the required state tests to graduate high school, and although I was happy because I was graduating in the top 15% of my graduating class, the climax of my happiness came from the fact that I had finally saved up enough money to purchase my first vehicle,
Yeah. Right now.
a 2000 Chevy Malibu.
Come on now.
The value of that vehicle when I purchased it was only worth a couple of $1,000s, but to me, that vehicle was worth more than life itself.
Come on now.
To prove how much I valued that vehicle, I made sure that vehicle stayed clean from the inside out.
Yeah.
To show how much I valued that vehicle, I made sure that I took frequent stops to Jiffy Lube every 3,000 miles to get my oil changed.
Come on now.
To show how much I valued that vehicle, I made sure that I made frequent stops to Discount Tire every 6,000 miles to have my tires rotated in balances. Y'all looking at me because y'all don't take care of y'all car. But I took care of my car because I placed great value on the car.
Yeah.
To show how valuable that car was to me, I did everything that I needed to do to make sure that that vehicle would service me for many years to come.
Amen.
However, after about 3 to 4 years of driving that car around, I noticed that the car started to deteriorate.
Come on now.
That is, the tires started to wear out, the battery started to go dead, the light bulbs started to grow grow dim. The windshield wiper blade started to become dull. That car started to deteriorate. And worse, the air conditioner developed a mind of its own, and it decided when it was going to turn on and when it was going to turn off without me saying a word.
Come on now.
The car simply started to go down. It started to go down. It started to go down. It started to cost me a whole lot of money that I did not intend to spend. It started to go down. And I remember sitting in my room thinking to myself how something that used to bring me so much joy could now bring me so much sorrow. I remember sitting in my room thinking to myself, how in the world could something that brought me so much happiness in the past could now bring me so much sadness in the present? It then dawned on me, or it was then that I learned the lesson that nothing in this world will last forever. I don't really care what it is you have. Nothing in this world will last forever.
Amen.
Just as my beloved Malibu began to deteriorate, so will everything that you place value on in this world. Whatever you place value on, it will soon come to nothing. It will soon fade away. That house that you are so crazy about, it will soon fade away. That house that you now live in, that you were so happy to move in when you first got it, now or after a few years, you'll find out that it's going to bring you a whole lot of sadness when you find out you need a new roof and you need a new floor and there's something wrong with your foundation. It's because nothing in this world will last forever. That new car you just bought off the lot with that good income tax check that you see a couple of weeks ago that you ain't no longer got, you'll find out that car will start giving you some problems. Even though it caused you happiness when you got it, it's going to end up causing you pain in the future. It's because nothing in this world lasts forever. Those little precious babies that you love so dearly when they were fresh out of the womb, look at the little baby, look at his chin, he's just so precious, he can't do nothing wrong. Do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? That little baby is going to become a teenager. And that baby that gave you all that joy when he came out is going to give you a whole lot of pain when he becomes a teenager. It's because nothing in this world lasts forever. Since you now know that nothing in this world will last forever, it behooves you, that is, it is in your best interest to take your mind off the temporary things of man and put them on the eternal things of God. I thought I'd have a witness there. I brought my own just in case. The songwriter lifted up her voice and said, you are to build your hopes on things eternal and hold to God's unchanging hand. That's really my sermon. That's it. Really come to tell you nothing else.
Amen. Bless the Lord.
But since you here,
All right.
looking as good as you look, smelling as good as you smell, allow me just to press on a little while more. There's a question in the text that I would like to ask and answer. The question of the text is, how do you value what is valuable to God?
All right now.
I hear you, Brother Reverend Pastor preacher, that I should build my hopes on things eternal. I hear you, Brother Reverend Pastor preacher, that I should hold to God's unchanging hand. I hear you, Brother Reverend Pastor preacher, that I shouldn't worry about the temporary things of man, but I should focus on the eternal things of God. But how do I value what is valuable to God?
Yes.
Here in our text, Matthew chapter 6, verses 22, 23, and 24. The Holy Spirit, through the message of Matthew, reveals how you can value what is valuable to God.
Amen.
if you are going to value what is valuable to God, it requires that you pursue the truth about God. If you are going to value what is valuable to God, it requires that you pursue the truth about God. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot serve God if you don't know Him.
What you say?
You cannot serve God properly if you do not know Him.
Amen.
If you graced us with your presence just a few hours ago, then you would have heard me preach a sermon entitled Valuables That Last Forever. It was inside that little sermon that the question was raised, why should you value what is valuable to God? And if you were here, then you know that you should value what is valuable to God because your valuables are temporary.
Amen.
But not only should you value what is valuable to God because your values are temporary, but you should value what is valuable to God because your valuables, because God's valuables are timeless. Your values are temporary, but God's valuables are timeless. And it was based on that argument that Matthew continues to instruct Christians, that is, people like you and I, to value the things that are valuable to God.
Amen.
Matthew moves from telling us why we should value what is valuable to God to telling us how we can value what is valuable to God. And the first thing that Matthew wants us to know in the text is that you and I can value what is valuable to God if we pursue the truth about God.
Amen.
In verses 22 and 23 of our text, Matthew claims that our understanding about the will of God will inevitably dictate how we behave. What you know about God will control how you behave. Notice the first phrase in verse 22. The eye is the lamp of the body. This phrase, the eye is the lamp of the body, suggests that your understanding is what controls your behavior.
Come on now.
This is not a literal phrase. Jesus did not make this phrase to mean that your literal eye would make you understand what's happening. This is a figurative phrase. This is a metaphorical phrase. The eye is the light of the body suggests that not what you see will dictate your behavior. Not even what you know will dictate your behavior. But it is what you understand that will dictate your behavior.
What you say?
Your eye is the light of the body suggests that what you understand will control what you do. I attended a barbecue some years ago, and there was a little baby who insisted on touching the barbecue pit. He kept walking toward the barbecue pit. And everybody would say, no, don't touch the barbecue pit. It's hot. Little baby would say, hot? But that wouldn't stop him a few moments later from running back toward the barbecue pit. He saw the smoke coming from the pit. He knew that the pit was hot because the people around him told him that the pit was hot. But what he saw and what he knew did not keep him from the barbecue pit. He still wanted to touch the pit. Everybody kept trying to save him. No, don't touch the pit. It's hot. His daddy finally came outside. And he saw everybody trying to keep him from the pit. His daddy lifted up his voice and said, no, let him touch it. They looked at him like he was crazy. So what you mean let him touch it? He said, no, just let him touch it one time. And I guarantee that he'll never touch it again. Y'all looking at me, but y'all ain't listening to me. That little baby walked up to that barbecue pit. He put his hand on the barbecue pit. That barbecue pit burned him one time. Although he saw that it was hot, although he knew that it was hot, it wasn't until he understood that that thing was hot that his behavior was framed based on his understanding. That little baby's a grown man now, and you can't get him to touch a barbecue pit. In fact, he's trying to help other little babies not touch barbecue pits because what he understood dictates his behavior. What you understand about God will dictate how you serve God. What you understand about God will dictate how you worship God. But if you have the wrong understanding about God, you will worship God in a way that God never intended for you to worship Him.
All right.
God has a way that He wants to be worshipped. He has a way that He wants to be praised. There are things that are valuable to God, but you cannot value the things of God if you don't understand who God is in the first place. If you are going to value the things that belong to God, you need to pursue the truth about God.
Amen.
I think this is what Solomon was getting at in Proverbs chapter 4, verse number 7. In Proverbs chapter 4, verse number 7, Solomon says, acquire everything that you can acquire, but above everything that you get you in understanding. Solomon understood that all of the knowledge in the world ain't gonna do you no good. Solomon understood that all of the information in the world won't do you any good. But Solomon also understood that if you understand what you know, then you are moving in the right direction. Amen. You're going to value what is valuable to God. You need to know or pursue the truth about God. This is interesting. If you are a church person, then chances are you go to church every Sunday. You've heard sermon after sermon. If you are a faithful church member, then you actually show up to that thing they call Bible study. Come on now. And you hear lesson after lesson. But all the preacher can do is give you information. That's right. All he can do is plant a seed. All another preacher can do is water the seed that some other preacher planted. But you need God to give you understanding. God, I have a witness there. Don't you worry your pretty little head. I brought my own. Bible says in the book of James, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives it liberally to every man who asketh of him. Solomon co-signed James' word and said, wisdom comes from the Lord.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Information won't help you understand it well. You don't have to go far to understand this, do you? It's what your children do to you when they finish a semester of college. Come on now. When they were a kid, you knew everything. They passed 2 classes barely, and now they know everything. They have knowledge, but you have understanding. Come on now.
Speak now.
I'll say it one more time. You got knowledge, but mama, daddy, and them got understanding. Come on now. All right. If you are going to serve God properly, if you're going to value what is valuable to God, you don't just need information about God. You need to understand God. You need to understand God. Why do you need to understand God? You need to understand God because when you understand God, then you will find out what is valuable to Him. You'll find out once you understand God that God can care less whether you got a car or not. God can care care less whether you got a 2-story house or not. All you need is a car. You don't need a Lexus or Mercedes Benz or none of that. You just need a car. So when you ask God for something and he gives it to you, he'll just give you what you need, and then you get mad because you didn't get the exact car that you wanted. But God can care less whether you drive a Volkswagen or a BMW. All you need is a car. And since cars are not valuable to God, God can care less whether you have a car or not.
All right.
God doesn't care if you stay in a 1-story house or a 2-story house. God doesn't care if you stay in the ghetto or if you stay in River Oaks. All you really need is a house to live in. God doesn't care if you wear Gucci or Louis Vuitton or a name that ain't nobody ever heard or a t-shirt with a tag that ain't got nothing on it. All you really need is clothes on your back. It's because clothes, cars, money is not valuable to God. God doesn't care about temporary things. God cares about eternal things.
Yes, man.
When you understand God, then you can understand what God values. God values things like love. God values things like mercy. God values things like grace. God values peace and long suffering. God values eternal things that do not pass away. And if you value the things God values, you love people who hate you. You care for people who don't care nothing about you. You help anybody you can help when you learn to value the things that God values himself. But you show up to church every Sunday and don't value what God values because you have knowledge but no understanding. Your car breakdown in the world is about to end. You spill chicken grease on your shirt during lunchtime, your favorite shirt. And you said, this ain't never gonna come out. And now your whole day is over. This is the longest prayer you ever prayed. Lord, please let this tide to go get this stain out of my shirt. You value temporary things, but God values eternal. And if you are going to value what God values, you need to pursue the truth about God.
Amen.
But the text tells us how you can identify whether or not you value what God values. In the latter half of verse 22 on into verse 23. Matthew lets us know that what we understand about God will inevitably manifest itself in how we behave. So then, if your eye is clear, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. And if the light that is in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? Jesus, the words of Jesus quoted by the messenger Matthew, uses these figurative phrases. Your eyes are clear. It will be full of light. If your eye is dark, it'll be full of darkness. To have clear eyes is to understand God fully. To have dark eyes or darkness in your eyes is not to understand God at all. Amen. To feel the tension of the text, you have to understand who Matthew is writing his letter, his gospel to. Right. Matthew is writing his gospel particularly to Jewish Christians. Jews were initially the chosen people of God. They were the ones that God gave the law of Moses to. The Jews were the ones who God showed up to. He gave them the promised land of Canaan. He brought them out of Egyptian captivity. The Jews were God's chosen people. If anybody should have known God, it should have been the Jews. But Matthew shows up on the scenes and said, y'all just a bunch of fools with a whole lot of knowledge, but y'all ain't got no understanding. The old folks would say, you just an educated, yeah. You just got a whole lot of book sense, but you have no understanding. What you mean I ain't got understanding is because you ain't living none of that stuff that you know. You know that God values love, but you hate everybody. You know that God values trust, but you are not trustworthy at all. You know that God don't like you talking to people the way you talk to people, but you still do it in the first place. And then you show up in the house of the Lord, and you know that when the choir sings, you ought to wave your hands, and you know that when the preacher preaches, you ought to say amen. But when you step outside, you take all of that knowledge and don't do nothing with it. Matthew has just insulted the people he writing to. Matthew, what you mean that I don't have understanding? I know the Bible. Yeah, but you ain't doing nothing. I love the Lord. Yeah, but how do you know that? You know, when I first found out that my wife loved me, was that there was tea and coffee on the counter. And I said, I'm going to see if she loves me. I said, Mooch, can you bring me something, watch me now, hot to drink? She said, okay. She never came to ask, do you want tea? Or do you want coffee? She just came in the room with a cup of coffee. I smiled and said, you love me, don't you? She said, yes, I do. But why did you ask me that? I said, because if you were just operating with your knowledge, I just asked you to bring me something hot to drink. And knowledge would have said tea hot and coffee hot. But she looked past her knowledge and understood who asked her.
Amen.
I asked her. I drink coffee. Don't bring me no tea. And because she understood me, she knew what to bring me. And I understood that she loved me, not based on what she said. I knew she loved me based on what she did. Y'all still looking at me, but y'all ain't listening to me. You want God to know that you love him. But God said, if you want me to know that you love me and that you value what's valuable to me, you prove it by what you do, not just by what you say. Amen. Jesus said, if you love me, you'll obey my commandments. But this darkness that's in your eyes, this lack of understanding that you have, it's showing itself in how you behave. Said I wasn't going to go here. That was against. But allow me just to get in your business. You say you love the Lord. And the commandments of the Lord said, leave that woman that ain't your wife alone.
What you say, preacher?
You say that you love the Lord. But the Lord said in his word that man that ain't your husband, leave that man alone. You got knowledge, but no understanding. But if you are going to value what God values, it requires that you pursue the truth about God. In a real sense, it requires that you pursue understanding. In addition to pursuing the truth about God, the text also teaches us that if you are going to value what is valuable to God, you must pledge allegiance to God.
All right now.
In a real sense, you can't pledge allegiance to a person that you don't understand.
Amen.
Verse 24, Matthew maintains that allegiance to God will cancel out your devotion to yourself. And vice versa, your devotion to yourself will cancel out allegiance to God. No man can serve two masters. Either he will hate one and love the other, or he will despise one and be devoted to the other. No man can serve God and wealth. The funny thing is that when you read that text, you think that God is talking about money, because that's what the text says. God is not against you having money. You need money to survive. But when you depend more on your money for survival than you do on God, you don't understand God. You know that God will make a way. You say that God will make a way somehow, but if you had a choice of coming to church or going to work, most of you will choose to go to work so that you can make more money. It's an indication that you are trusting in your own ability than trusting in God's ability. Matthew claims that, but you can't have it both ways. You cannot be devoted to God and devoted to yourself.
All right, man.
If you are going to be devoted to God, you have to give up what you want to value what's valuable to God. This morning, I talked about what you do at work. There's a big printer in the office that's intended to print business stuff. Yeah, you use it to print church programs.
Yes.
That there's a big printer in the office for you to do your work-related business. But you printing out AT&T emails to prove that you don't owe as much as they say you owe.
All right.
You use their stuff for your benefit.
Yes.
This is oftentimes how we do God.
Come on now.
God gives us everything that we have, but instead of using what God gives us to value Him, we use what God gives us to benefit us.
Amen.
And God takes issue with that. It's because you like God. You just haven't pledged allegiance to God. When you pledge allegiance to God, you value what's valuable to Him. And no matter what happens to you, you still praise God in the midst of what you're going through. I'm going to say that one more time because I felt real good right there. Because on a typical Sunday, if you had a bad week, you stepped inside the house of the Lord and you have already made up in your mind that I ain't going to say nothing, I ain't going to do nothing.